Dear students, Assalamu alaikum. Before I start with my topic of discussion today, I would like you to click the bell icon to subscribe my channel. Today I am going to talk about a very crucial issue which is faced by the students who are at a very important point in their lives, that is when they are entering the college. Most of the students, when they leave behind school, they are faced with an issue, and that is the choice of subject. Now, why is this phase of their life crucial? Because the choice of subject depends on their success or on their failure later on in their lives. So, in our system, the students, they face this issue because they lack the guidance, they lack the support, they lack the counseling which is required for a student to make an appropriate decision of his life related to his interest, to his or her aptitude, so that when he graduates out of college, he is a successful student, a successful citizen of the society. Now, when the student enters the college, or when he starts his journey on this road to success, the most important thing that a student should have is confidence. So this series of lectures, it basically concerns with how to inculcate the quality of confidence in a student, so that when he or she is faced with the choice or with a situation when he has to make a choice of a subject or of a career, he is confident enough that whatever decision he or she is making is going to lead to success. Now, the first thing that is required in building up confidence in a student is flexibility. It's the first and the foremost important quality or a trait that a student should have. When a student leaves behind his school life and enters a college, he has already preconceived opinions, and they are very strong opinions. Then he has a problem with handling relationships. Then he has faced certain setbacks previously in life which make him inflexible. And the most important thing is his adaptability to change. So when we talk about opinions, we see that the students, when they leave behind their school life, they have very hardcore opinions related to the choice of subjects. Because the society in which we live, the students are faced with a lot of pressures. They are the familial pressures of the parents, pressures of the peers, pressure of the relatives. And these pressures, in fact, are very important, which form opinions and very strong opinions in the mind of the students. For example, in the society in which we live, most of the students are demanded, or probably they themselves have this strong opinion in their mind, in their heart, that becoming a doctor or an engineer is the key to success. So, when you come across such students who have such strong opinions, it is so difficult to change their minds. No counselor, no teacher, no motivator can motivate them or can make them change their opinions about the choice of profession that they are going to make. So, this inflexible attitude is also a very important reason in causing failure for the students, because not necessarily the opinions that they have formed or their parents have formed about themselves are going to be correct ones. And with these opinions, when they enter a certain field or when they choose a certain subject, not necessarily they are going to be successful in that subject. If their interest is not there, if they have not assessed themselves, if they have not assessed their aptitude, so how are they going to be successful as far as the choice of that subject is concerned? So their strong opinions, their inflexible attitude regarding the choice of subject, it becomes a cause of their failure. And I have come across so many students in my life. I have come across so many parents in my profession, and it's so difficult to convince them to change their opinion regarding the choice of subject. Then we move on to another important aspect which makes the student's attitude inflexible. It's handling the relationships. Now, most of the students, when they are in school, they have formed very close relationships with their friends, and for them these friendships, they are very important. In fact, sometimes the choice of subject is also due to the peer pressure. They do not want to get themselves separated from their friends. So when they enter the college, the handling of these relationships, that also becomes a obstacle in their success. The inflexibility on the part of the students, they want to cling to their friends, they want to cling to their strong relationships, the strong bonds that they have formed during their school life. So much so that they even tend to go after their friends in the colleges in which their friends are. So they push their parents into seeking admission into the same colleges. This also is a very important cause in the failure of the students, because not again necessarily the student who is going after his friend is also interested in the subject in which his friend is interested. This bonding and this relationship, it should not be so inflexible. The students should realize and they should show a flexibility, because their career should be their focus. The friendships they do form, they break, they keep on breaking, they keep on forming throughout your career. And this is the common thing that I have to face in my profession. The students come complaining that they want to join the section in which their friends are. Now, this is something which is very difficult on the part of not the teacher but also the student. This inflexible attitude of the student, it leads them to failure, because when they are not able to cope with the situation of separating from their friends, they lose interest in their studies, and that also leads to failure. So basically what is important is that the students should realize they should have that flexibility in their personalities, that they should be able to adapt to the change, which I would be again coming in the next point. Another important thing that leads to this inflexible attitude in the students is that probably they had faced some setbacks in life. These setbacks can be related to their studies. These setbacks can be related to their personal, their family lives. Some of the students, they come from broken families, and this lack of confidence in themselves, this feeling of low esteem in themselves, it also makes them inflexible, because they are then withdrawn within themselves. They are they they prefer to live in their own cocoons. They do not want to break that shell to come out and become flexible and mix up with people. So these setbacks, they basically are the cause of this inferiority complex or low self esteem and lack of confidence. So these setbacks also some are a very important factor in making the student inflexible in his attitude. Then another important aspect is the adaptation to change. Now, man is again such a creature that he's always afraid of change. Although he should realize that nothing is permanent, it's change that is permanent. So if he accepts this reality that change is always there, we have to change. We have to change from one phase to another. We have to transform from one stage of our life to another phase of our life. So when one accepts this, then one becomes flexible. One is ready to adapt to the change. So most of the students, they show inflexibility towards change. They have been so much in a habit of going to school. They have seen the same kind of friends, they have seen the same kind of teachers, they have been into the same kind of an environment. So when they enter college, which is a new chapter of their life, which is a new phase of their life, which is a very big change in their life, so they are not ready to accept that change, and that also becomes a cause of their failure. It also becomes a very big obstacle in leading them towards the road to success. So um, this lack of adaptability on the part of the students, it is a very strong factor in leading them towards failure. Entering a new college, going into a new environment, meeting new people, making new friends, these are all the fears that the students have. And these fears, they make them inflexible. And they tend to withdraw, either they withdraw within themselves, they are not ready to make friends quickly, they are not ready to adapt the change of new atmosphere. So the process of learning, it becomes slow. With this inflexible attitude, the subjects that they have chosen, they, because of the new atmosphere, new friends, new environment, new teachers, the choice of subject that they have made, it becomes difficult for them to keep pace with that subject. Now, how should a student know that he is flexible? In order to find out that he has got a flexible attitude, he should watch his attitude, he should plan alternatives, and he should keep an open mind. Now, how should he watch his attitude? This is again very important because he should, it basically, it is looking into yourself, trying to find out your shortcomings, trying to find out your your weaknesses. So when a student is not ready to mix up with people, is not ready to mix up with the new environment, is not ready to accept the change, he should be able to find out that this is the problem that is with him, and he should try to become flexible towards this change. Then planning of alternatives, that is very important. When the student is entering this new phase of life, now again, because of the attitude of um, climbing the bandwagon is very common. Do what others are doing. This kind of attitude leads to a failure. The students, they do not leave many options for themselves. They just, because of their strong opinions, because of the inflexibility in their attitudes, they just want to go for one option only. So they do not have any other alternatives planned for themselves. So as a result, what happens is that they, when their dreams do not come true, when their the choice that they have made, it does not turn into a success, it results in a failure. And I would like to clarify this from an example, that when the students, they leave behind their early phase, that is their school, and they are about to enter the college, and they are trying to seek admission into the college. Now they do not have many options for themselves. They just go for either one or two options. And most of the time, I've come across situations when the students, they do not get admission in the colleges of their desire, then they land themselves in trouble. And then they are wandering here and there, trying, begging, persuading to get admission into whatever college gives them admission. So, in order to be successful, you should always have many options. Do not just limit yourself to one option only or two options only. So, when you have a list in front of you of options, you should be going after your you should be going after your priority list. One first option, second option, third option, fourth option, because then you would your chances of failure would become less. Then you should keep an open mind. And by that, it means that you should not be restricted only to one choice only. And this I would like to explain by the attitude or the inflexibility that the students have as far as the choice of subjects is concerned. Again, in the society in which we are living, some of the professions are considered to be very important, and that because they are probably lucrative. The parents think that by entering these professions, their children would become successful in their lives. They would probably have no problem as far as their financial situation would be. And this kind of attitude is inculcated so deep in the minds of the students that they block their minds and they do not look for other choices. So, with these blocked minds, when they come to the college, their choices are so limited, and because they have not assessed themselves properly, they are again following the following probably their peers, following the pressures of their families. So that is why they're just focused on very limited choices. And again, it's so difficult to convince them when as a teacher, when sometimes I notice that a student is failing in a particular subject which he or she has chosen of his own choice, and I try to counsel the student to change the subject, to go into another one. It's so difficult to convince that student because again of the blockage of mind. The society in which we are living, there are certain taboos, or you can say that there are certain preferences related to the choice of subjects. So that is why the students, they become so rigid, so inflexible when it comes to convince them, to persuade them to change the subject. They keep on insisting that they would perform better next time, they would do better next time. They do not realize that it's their lack of interest, it's the probably lack of motivation, or it uh, it's a lack of aptitude in that subject which is probably causing this failure. So they do not realize that, and with this blocked mind, they keep on struggling with that lack of interest, and definitely the result is a failure. So when they graduate, they do not graduate with flying colors. They might have an average grade point, uh, and with that average grade point, they probably are not going to end up into a successful profession. Now, because this series of lectures which I have planned for the students, the first aspect that I am talking about is flexibility. Now, how can a student acquire this flexibility so that it leads him towards the road to success? Now, there are four important factors which, when they are present in a student, we can say that the student is flexible in his approach towards his choice of career. The first is self assessment, the second is networking, Third is the support system. And the fourth is the active learning. So we'll discuss them one by one. Now, how can a student assess himself? It's very important that a student should be able to assess that where does he stand, and uh, in the society in which we are living, uh, the, it's very difficult for a student to assess himself. There are so many pressures on the student that he is unable to assess himself. So, as far as our society is concerned, the pressures of the parents, the pressures of the relatives, they should be kept aside, and the student should be let alone, should be independent in assessing himself, that where does he stand and how can he assess himself. Now, the previous experiences, they are a key in telling him that how can he assess himself, that where does he stand, what are his weaknesses, what are his strengths, his past failures, his difficulties, his successes. These all are basically the tools which help a student to assess himself. The past failures, for example, if a student has not scored very good marks in a particular subject at his final stage of school, so if he insists on picking up that subject as a major in college, that would be a very big mistake on the part of that student. That means he is not assessing himself properly. If he has got very good grades and he is ignoring that subject and going for a subject which is showing him showing his weaknesses, he is making a wrong decision. So basically, the student should be able to assess himself, his past failures, his past successes, his difficulties in coping up with the subject. For some students, maths is a very difficult subject, and the difficulties probably that they have faced is that they don't have guidance at home, they don't have guidance probably in their peers, there's nobody to support them. So if such a student picks up a subject as a major in college, so how is he going to be successful in that subject? So self assessment is the first and the foremost important aspect of um, creating flexibility in a student. Now, when a student is assessing himself, he should know what his goals are. And when he knows that what his goals are, then can he also think about the major subjects that he is going to choose. Now, what is a goal? A student, before he enters a college, he should know that what is his goal, because a goal is the end point. It's the final point where you are leading to. It's the objective of your life. It's it can be just compared to a destination. When you start a journey, you go through different stops, you go through different stations to reach towards your destination. So, a goal is also the final destination. When you start a journey and you want to reach to a destination, you prepare for it. It's just like when we plan to go somewhere, and before planning to go somewhere, we look at the things that we require. We check our luggage, what is the thing that we are going to require when we reach that place. We plan for the time. We look at the weather, whether the weather is appropriate, and what kind of clothes are we going to take along with us so as to um, meet the requirement of that place. So is the case with our goal, the goal of our life, because it's the final end point. And for that goal, we also make preparations. We need to plan, we need to make arrangements for that. And as we plan a journey and we take it seriously, so our goal should also be taken seriously. It also requires a commitment. A commitment is a very important word because it does not make you deviate from your path. When we plan a journey and we stop on different stations, we do not stop there on that station and stay there and forget about our final destination. We might take a break for a while, but we keep on moving because we have to reach to the destination. So is the goal of our life. There might come distractions, there might come deviations, but these should not be the hurdles. That is what is commitment. That is what is seriousness. So a student should be committed towards his goal. He should take it seriously, and all the energies should be channelized towards achievement of that goal. He should not then waste his time. He should not be attracted towards distractions because they take you away from your goal. So this is basically when I say that a student, in order to be confident, he should have the quality of flexibility in him. This is where flexibility comes in because he is, if he's committed towards his goal, if he is um, if he is determined, then he has that quality of flexibility in him. And with the achievement of goal and with the intention to achieve your goal, the first step is the choice of a major. A major is a subject or is a main concern, or you can say that where you can put all your energies to it. It's a subject in which you want to excel because that is going to lead you towards the career of your choice. So again here, what happens with the students is that they are not flexible as far as the major is concerned. They they are just because of their firm opinions about certain subjects of their fixtures, they cannot keep the other options open for themselves. They are not flexible in the choice of a major, and they, they because they are not able to assess their own interest and values. That is why they are not The choice of a major subject depends a lot on your interest, your aptitudes, and unless and until you have assessed your interest and your value system, you are not able to make a good choice of a major subject. Now, what happens in our system? The students, because they come with certain opinions, inflexible ideas, and a certain approach towards life, where they have notions that such and such subject is going to guarantee them a successful life. So that is why they end up in a wrong choice of a subject. Now, in such a situation, when we don't have career counseling centers, when we don't have people who guide you properly, professionals out there who can tell a student that where should he go, or what major subject should he choose, or what is most appropriate according to his aptitude, then a way out for such students is that they should talk to people around them, people who are probably working in such professions which are appealing to the students, that means which interest the students. For example, if a student is interested in social work and he wants to be a social worker, so he should go and meet such people who are already working in such fields, so as to see that what has made them successful in their lives. Or if a student, for example, wants to be an artist, he should meet people around him who are leading successful careers as artists. So it might be one way of finding out that what paths should the student take in order to make a correct choice of a subject. When the students they enter the college life, they are clueless. They do not know what to do with their lives. Some of them, as I have already discussed, not in fact some of them, most of them, they are pushed into making the choices. So this results in failure. And the goal which they had in their mind when they opted for this subject, they do not achieve that goal because they have not done their homework. They had not come with proper preparation. The journey on which they embarked, they came unprepared. They did not bring the proper luggage with them. They did not properly plan it. So that is why when they pass out, they end up nowhere. And this results in, again, of course, hopelessness, disappointment, and they the low self-esteem with which they had entered the college further more is added to it. So you can see here that there's a small kind of a table. It's just an idea for the students that what should they do in order to self-assess themselves, in order to make a choice of a major. They should think that what is their personal value, what do they value, what do they want to do with their life. Do they want to improve the system existing around them? Do they want to share the knowledge? At the end of the day, do they want to share the knowledge that they have acquired? Do they want to help others? So these are the values that are there within you, or do they want to alleviate the pain of the people? So these with these values in their mind, they can then look up at the options that are available around them in the college in which they are entering. What are the subjects that are being offered which match with their value system? And once they've found the major, then of course they can pick up the majors, because those major subjects are then further going to pave the path for success for, for their future careers. Like for example here, if they want to improve the system, now for that the subjects which are there are policy making, administration, studying the subjects of administration, and this is going to lead them towards their career in, for example, politics, or they might end up in a bureaucratic job where they would be in a position to improve the system. So that is how you see that in order to achieve a goal, these are the preparations, these are the luggages that you pack up for your journey, because these are going to keep you on the right track, and these are finally going to take you towards success. Now, as I previously told that for a student to be flexible in his approach when he enters a college, we have discussed the first aspect, that is self assessment. The other is networking. That is also very important. When you enter a college life, you see that, and for college life here, I mean not the intermediate level but the undergraduate level. You come across so many students coming from diverse backgrounds, coming from different ethnic groups. Now you should have that flexibility within you to embrace that diversity. Students coming from diverse backgrounds, they come with the same kind of opinions that they bring with them. They're probably the notions that have been inculcated in them since their birth, the strong opinions that they have of other ethnic groups, of other um, nationalities, these these become a hindrance in creating flexibility in the students, and that hampers the process of learning. So in order to like um, be a flexible student, you should be able to embrace the diversity that is there in the students, because if you are not flexible, you would not become interactive. You would not become communicative with the students. And this is definitely going to create problem for you, because you won't be able to come out of your shell. And when you are not able to come out of your shell, how are you going to learn? Because learning is a process which depends a lot on communication and interaction. And once you overcome that, you would be able to involve in such activities which will further provide you with a chance to interact with people. And at the college level, you get maximum chances to engage yourself and involve yourself in co-curricular activities. And these activities, they further enhance the flexibility in you. You come out of your rigid opinions, because you have to work in groups, you have to take along with you people. So whether you are a leader or you are a co-worker, you have to listen to the opinions of others, you have to accept the differences of opinions. So this makes you a flexible person, and this further It speeds up the process of learning. It also paves a way to success, because for success you have to be, of course, embracing diversity in people. You should be tolerant to listen to others. You should be able to accept the others' diverse opinions, because this is how you are going to move further. If you do not give a chance to others, if you do not listen to the difference of opinion of others, how are you going to mingle up? How are you going to interact with people? And how are you then going to be a successful student? And then there also comes a chance that you are like, when you are in a college, you it's not necessarily all the students are of the same age group. Some of the students might be older than you, because probably they did not get a chance at the right moment to continue with their studies. They had to give a break and for some reasons, and now they have re-entered the educational environment again. But definitely there's a gap in age. They are older than you. So instead of um, not accepting those students, you should interact with such kind of students, because they are far more experienced. They have seen more in life, and interacting and communicating with such kind of students is going to give you a edge. Then there are such students who are disabled. They might be physically disabled, they might be mentally disabled. This is basically what is called networking. Networking with people around you who are different from you, who are different from you socially, who are different from you in ethnicity, who are different from you probably in age, who are different from you mentally and physically. So you have to give them space. You have to be tolerant towards them. You have to listen to them. You have to give them a chance so that they also share their ideas and opinions. So, this flexible approach is going to help you as a student of a college to progress and to succeed, because learning from the experiences and differences of others is going to inculcate confidence in you, and it will help you coming out of your own shell. It will help you develop your communicative skills, the communicative skills which are very important for a student to be successful in his practical life. Another important aspect is the support system that a student has. This support system also makes a student confident. The family from where he is coming, what kind of a family is it? Is it supportive of the choices of subject that he is making? Is it going to support him financially? Is it going to support him in education? That has he that sound background in education which is going to help him, guide him, choose the right or make the right decision? We come, as a teacher, we come across students coming from diverse kind of backgrounds. Some come from broken families, some come from very rich families, some come from very poor families, some come from highly educated families, some they do not have any educational background at home. So this kind of scenario is also is a key factor in the progress of the student. So the student, when he realizes that what kind of support system he has, he should then make his decision according to that. If he is not getting a support at home as far as finances are concerned, he should try to look at other ways of finding finances. There are definitely resources available in the institution. There are people who are ready to finance. There are um, certain kind of scholarships provided to the students. Then if he is coming from a family which is not supportive of education, which probably can't guide him or which can't help him in education, he should then find that kind of support system in the institution to which he has got admission. There are definitely certain kind of supporters there in the institution. There are teachers there who are going to go the extra mile to help such kind of student. So the student should be at a lookout, trying to find out from where can he get that support. So the faculty that is there is very supportive and can bring the student out of that problem. So the student, what is most important is that the student should have that kind of flexible approach. He should be all when he has made a decision of his life, then he should make all the preparations regarding that. The finances, the educational support system, the counseling, the other requirements that he needs, he should be well aware of that. He should be asking, if he does not know from where this support is going to come, he should be asking people. He should be finding where are the right appropriate informations which he needs. So there are situations when the students they enter the institutions, the colleges, they do not know a lot about those institutions, so they should do proper homework before entering that institution. From which corner are they going to get what kind of support? So that is what is required of a student. If a student has done this kind of homework, he is definitely going to be a better student, and he is definitely going to overcome the difficulties that are faced when you change your environment, when you shift from one institution to another institution, when you leave behind your early phase of life and you enter a new phase of life. The fears, the inhibitions, the obstacles that you are going to face in this new environment, when you are going to come out of your comfort zone and you are going to face the challenges of change, then you should be well prepared for that. And these questions, if they are answered in the beginning, if the solutions are found about these problems in the beginning, then there are least chances of failures. And Related to this is the information about the campus. Now, when the student has like assessed himself, when he has after assessing himself, he has chosen a major. He is able to communicate and interact with people around him. He has overcome his preconceived notions about the diversity of people. He is able to communicate with them. He has established a certain kind of a networking around him. He has found a support system. Then the active learning starts. And this active learning also requires information about the rules and laws that exist in that institution, the resources that are available there. Now, most of the time, the students do not know what resources are available in the institution. For example, if they've chosen a major and they do not know how to enhance their information, how to enhance their knowledge about that major. They do not know what kind of resources are available in the institution. Are there libraries? Are there is there relevant material available in the institution? Is there any equipment required that the student might need? So they do not do this kind of homework. So that is why the learning is not an active learning. And the random choices that they make about their subject without preparation, without information, without doing the homework leads to failure. So now let me recap what I have discussed in this lecture. The road to success for a student is based on the confidence level that he has. Because confidence in yourself, confidence in your abilities, confidence in your skills, this leads to success. And for confidence, what is required as an important trait is the flexible approach. The flexible approach towards your goal, towards your career, towards the options that are available there in front of you, to the approach, flexible approach that you have with your peers, with the people around you. This all is very important for a student to embark upon the road to success. Thank you.